What's happening, my YouTube friends and family? Hope everyone's doing well. And so here we are, peak season. Everyone should be making a killing. Figured I'd show you guys some of the loads that are available. So for the sake of argument, right now we are having it show us one-way and round trips. And we have the filter set from anywhere to anywhere. And any type of equipment, any type of driver. The only thing I did was I put a minimum of $1,000 payout. I'll change the filters here in a minute, but that's kind of how I would look for loads. And it's going to eliminate a whole bunch of them, but it'll show you guys some of the better stuff that's out there if you're patient enough and willing to wait for the better stuff. Anyway, and so right now we have it set to sort by the highest rate per mile. So here at the very top, you got one going from Pennsylvania to Jersey. It's 154 miles, paying $1,341. This is a trailer required, so you got to bring your own trailer for that. But you know, $1,300 in what they say will take you 7 hours for 154 miles. Not too bad. Here's a 26-foot box truck. It's a reefer load, so don't confuse that. It says reefer right on it. That's why everything's kind of overlapped. Someone manually typed that in. That one's going from Maryland to Philadelphia, $8.14 per mile. So that one is paying for 170 miles, $13.84. Hard to argue with that. Here we got one going from New York to Hazleton, Pennsylvania, 158 miles, paying a total of $12.88. They say you'll do that in 4 hours and 30 minutes. It's a trailer required. Here is a power only, 222 on the miles, pays $7.67 per mile. So this one's going from Remington out to Shepherdsville. $1,700 for 5 hours. Hard to argue with that. Here is a 155 mile load for a power only. This was going from Tallahassee to Jacksonville. And I'm always the one that criticizes, that your Florida loads are horrible. Here's one for, 155 miles. They say it'll take you a little over 5 hours to do. $1,100. Not bad money. Here's one from Albuquerque going to Durango, Colorado. The little lightning bolt there next to the dollar, if I read it correctly and I understand correctly, that means you do this one correctly and you have a good score, they will pay this in a 24-hour period. If I'm understanding it correctly. I've not done one of them, so I can't say it because I've experienced it. I hope I'm not misguiding anyone. I'll probably have to read that again and make sure I'm correct, but I believe that's what that little lightning bolt means. So that's a 300-mile load. They say it'll take you 5 hours to do for a power only, and it's $2,200. And looks like there's a few of them here. So there's another one, $2,200. All right, so here's one from Indiana to Tennessee. It's 169 miles. They say it'll take you 3.5 hours to do it. Trailer required, so in other words, bring your own, kind of like what we do. At $7.61 a mile, that's $1,287 bucks. I've never been to that facility in Tennessee, so I can't say. Remember, these are what they call live loads. So it's not just you drop the trailer and leave. You show up, check in, back up to a door, and you have to wait for them to unload you. At some facilities like FTW1, MEM1, LGB8, and the one in South Carolina, I think they call it SLT1, SLT2, something like that. Those are some of the worst. You'll be sitting in line for hours and hours and hours. I can't speak to this one, never been there. There's an Evansville, Indiana, going out to Tennessee. Same kind of thing, trailer required, $1,287. I'm not sure if I repeated the same one there. My apologies if I did. There's a New York heading out to PA, 197 miles. This is a power only, $7 a mile for $1,382. Here's one going from Washington to Idaho, 419 miles, power only, paying $28.98. There's one going from New York to Pennsylvania, 250 miles for $1,600. It's almost $1,700. There's another one from New York to PA, 250 miles for almost $1,700. Looks like it's a duplicate. And here's another one. And another one. There's one going from Jersey, also to Jersey, 156 miles, for $1,000. Power only. So obviously, right now is the time to be working for Amazon if that's your cup of tea. I'm not gonna lie, I actually did an Amazon load right before Thanksgiving. As I was coming home, it was almost too convenient to pass up. The drop-off ended up being like 20 miles from my house, and it was better than deadheading home for sure. So there's 151 miles. This one's a trailer required, going from Baltimore out to Pennsylvania, 151 miles for $1,000. Here's another trailer required, 227 miles from Maryland to Brooklyn. Never been to Brooklyn, guys, so I'm not going to say anything about it because I've never driven a rig out that way. But that's $1,825 is the money on it. There's 266 miles from Carson, California to Henderson, Nevada. $656 per mile, paying $1,747. I want to say on the open market you could probably get about that. So even for peak season, it's not better. LA is just one of those markets where outbound freight is very well paid, inbound freight is cheap. Here is power only, going from Syracuse, New York, out to Edison, New Jersey. This one here is $653 on the miles, paying $1,600. Not too bad. Looks like here's almost the same thing from Syracuse, but this one goes out to Robbinsville, New Jersey. $263 on the miles, paying $6 a mile, $1,722. That's money, guys. I mean, I've always said I want to shoot for at least a minimum of $1,000 a day for one of my trucks, or it's not worth it to even start the truck. That's my formula, my game plan, if you will. Some people say, well, no, you're wrong. Everyone's got their own belief, their own formula. That's just how I do it. Right now I'm waiting for my trailer to get loaded. I have a load, I'm running out. It's 2,000 miles. I'm going to be dropping in 3 days, and I'm making over $9,000 on it. So, however you want to slice that, 3 days, $9,000. I'm making $3,000 a day. That's just kind of the type of work that I pursue. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And for 3 days, instead of doing like these Amazon type loads where you have to be waiting on them every day, that's the most frustrating part of your day. For me, it's just easier to drive, I guess. I'm getting lazy, getting old. Anyway, that's just kind of what's there. The way I filtered this, I'm sure if I removed some of the filters, we'd see a whole bunch of, 10-mile loads that also pay, $10 a mile. I personally don't look at those, again, because you just have to deal with too much Amazon people for the work. That's just, again, my own opinion. But let me switch this over to box truck, because I know a lot of you guys have that box truck interest. I'm going to remove that filter. And I guess for shits and giggles, I can just open it up like so. And so here you'll see, I didn't even change the filter to box truck, but you can see there's a mile delivery, and it's paying $2.25. There's another 1 mile delivery, $2.25. And hell, they're all box trucks. And so if you're in the right place at the right time, I guess I should just call them out instead of scrolling right past them. So there's Kent, Washington to Kent, Washington. Looks like these are just moving from one, what do you want to call it? From one distribution or fulfillment center to another. There's San Bernardino. There's one in Wisconsin. And again, these are all 1 mile moves for $2.25. There's a San Bernardino. There's a Ohio. There's Phoenix. Another Phoenix. Baltimore, Maryland. Another Phoenix. And these are all 1 mile moves, which, typical for them, it's going to take you longer to get checked in, bumped to a dock, get loaded, get unloaded. That's going to be the majority of your time. And so if you can string a couple of these together, that makes for a good night, I think. There's Kenosha, Wisconsin. Jefferson, Ohio. Phoenix. Baltimore, Maryland. Phoenix. Another Baltimore, another Phoenix, another Baltimore, San Bernardino. And so definitely it's peak season, guys. These are, I mean, to some people these are great. Me personally, I can only stand so much of Amazon in one day. And again, I know I sound like a grumpy old fart. I guess I'm getting there. But oh, you'll have to excuse, I just plugged in the phone because it's low on charge. But for some people, these are good. I tend to not try and do the little 1 and 2 mile loads because, like I say, you spend more time bumping a dock and getting past their line. There's a Fort Worth. Another Fort Worth. They got a few of them there. There's a Salt Lake City. Anyway, so as you can see, compared to like other times I've shown box truck loads, there just weren't that many. Right now is the time where Amazon is, you could say, bursting at the seams with this type of work. And so those of you that either are ready or, were ready, now's the time that you should be trying to jump on the Amazon stuff, especially if this work is convenient and close to you. There's a whole bunch of San Bernardino there. There's a Kentucky. In fact, I'm heading that way. I'll be there in a couple days. But it's looking pretty good. I mean, it is that time where, Amazon consumes a lot of trucks. But anyways, I figured I'd post this up real quick. I'm gonna try and get in a little power nap here. I don't know how long they take to load. It's one of those places where you drop your trailer, they make you park on the street, and hopes are in a few hours they give me my trailer and I get on down the road. But I'm just gonna continue to scroll here for a little bit, and then we'll just cut it off. As you can see, there's a lot of these out there. Anyways, as always, guys, thanks for watching, and hope everyone's doing well.